Today we are in Waterton Lakes National Park. This is a small, quiet park tucked in the southwest of Alberta, and it has about 150 people in the summertime and about 30 people in the wintertime. Now this park covers about 200 square miles, and the Blackfoot call it the inner sacred lake in the mountains. So I was invited here by Ashley and Jimmy to check out their little Mid-Century Motel. It's nestled in the heart of Waterton, and it's called the Mountain Motel. Let's check it out.
Things don't come up, well, businesses in Waterton just don't come up for sale very often. Most of them are family run, they're legacy businesses, they've been in families for generations. We try to fill a niche in Waterton that is lacking. And it's very expensive to do business in the park, but we also know people like to come to the park, and many of them just can't afford to stay in some of the newer motel or hotels. Our goal is to try and provide a place for people, keep the prices down, hopefully get some extra money to put back into the property, and we're not all that concerned about making money, which is good because we don't. A lot of people like to come to Waterton and camp, but the weather's very unpredictable in Waterton, particularly in the shoulder months, and so we do get a lot of people who come to camp and then realize it's just not tenable to camp because of the weather that came in, and so we're usually the next stop. So we're sort of there's camping, and then there's hotels, and we're sort of like here. We're not camping, but we're not particularly luxurious, and we don't really want to be.
Yes.
That's right.
I guess our unofficial slogan, it's on the website, so maybe it's more official, but it's like, we are simple, clean, and affordable. This would be kind of cool, to have a lifestyle like my parents, where they work in the summer and then they just travel in the winter. And we learned about this property that was going to be coming up for sale, and so we kind of took a look at it and figured, well, let's give it a try.
We took a very long look at it.
Yeah.
Over the course of a couple of years.
Yeah.
And my first impression was, no, we're not doing this at all. This is ridiculous. Why are we even having this conversation? But after 2 years of convincing, finally I gave in. So I stopped pursuing my own dreams and instead decided to pursue the dreams of my spouse. And now I am just a shell of a man.
Oh my god. I'm glad you could edit.
El Cortez.
It was like a dark red?
Yeah, kind of a deep,
yellow?
kind of brick red with mustard yellow trim and some teal features.
Yeah.
Built in 1958, we can't change that. It is prohibitively expensive to knock it down and start over, and we'd never be able to, build something that had the capacity that this one has due to our footprint and the changing zoning in the park. So we have no intention of ever doing that. Instead, we try to embrace that it was built in 1958 and go with kind of a mid-century vibe. And ultimately, the plan is to try and make it look like it was built in 1958, but that it is 1958. So we want it to look and feel like 1958, but we want it to function like it's 2021.
Oh my God.
You like that?
So
Yeah.
that is so. So we have 36 rooms total. Our season typically runs from the May long weekend through the end of September. Sometimes the end of September or first weekend in October, just kind of depends on how the calendars fall and whatnot. But we have lots of different room types actually. Just single rooms with a simple queen bed. Then we have that with a studio, a kitchenette as well, and then rooms with full kitchens and just behind us here actually like what we call the family suite. It's basically like a small apartment. So it's got a couple of rooms and a front living room and a full kitchen. So lots of different options depending on the size of your family or your group.
And there's not really ever a bad time to come to Waterton, but people are going to be here in July and August. You're going to be sharing the park with everyone else. The park will be full to capacity, which is great, and some people love that, and it does kind of give almost kind of a festive atmosphere in the whole town. But if you're not crazy about crowds and want a little bit more time to yourself and have an easier time getting into restaurants and that kind of thing, you want to come in June, you want to come in September. And as far as the weather goes, in the shoulder months like May and June and September, particularly May and June, it can be very enjoyable to be here in the rain as long as you come prepared, because it's not necessarily going to be all that cold, but it might be a little wet. So if you come knowing that, there are so many things you can do that you just wouldn't think to do because it's raining. We know what we are. We can't change when the building was built, and we can't change the footprint of our property. So we have to try to set ourselves apart in different ways. And being really clean is one way, being really affordable is another way, and then customer service is extremely important to us. And not just to try and get people to come back, but because we want to feel good about what we're doing, and we want to have good relationships with people. We rely very heavily on return guests, on word of mouth. We don't spend a lot of money in marketing because we don't want to drive prices up or anything like that. So we want to try and fill the rooms with people that we like and who like us, and we do a fairly good job at that. When people mention that they have a special occasion, an anniversary, birthday, that sort of thing, we really try to be attentive to those types of things and try and do things for them that other places wouldn't. We can try and personalize things a little more because we're so small, and because I think the two of us are pretty present in the whole operation, and our housekeeping manager is also very attentive to that sort of thing, and we just like doing it.
So here's a good tip for the mid-century dweller. If you like what you saw and you'd like to bask in an original mid-century motel, just let Jimmy and Ashley know that you saw the video, mention mid-century dweller, and you get a 5% discount on the shouldering months of May and in September. Enjoy.